Okay. Good evening, AOBE members, BISD employees, and Brownsville community. This is Veronica Borrego, your AOBE president. And here next to me, I have Miss Aida Abeldaño, our TSTA staff. And shortly, we will have Mr. Carlos Elizondo, place 7, endorsed candidate for AOBE. Today has been a long but productive day. We have been very busy, praise Jesus, and we're looking forward to having our little chat with Mr. Carlos Elizondo.
Yes, it was definitely a very crazy and very busy day. Lots of things going on as always. Oh, there's Mr. Carlos Elizondo.
Hello, is that okay?
It sounds a little rough connection there.
Right now.
Como que andas un poquito ronco.
We were supposed to have today Mr. Joe Rodriguez, so we did have to make some changes to the schedule and have Mr. Elizondo on, as Mr. Rodriguez could not this week, but we will be getting him on next week.
Is that better?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah. All right.
A little bit.
Okay. Do we want to go straight into the press release, Ida?
Sure, we can go into that. Actually, I don't know if you want to give me a few minutes so I can send it out to our members so that way they can log on and they can be kept up to date on the press release. So y'all can do some nice small talk.
Yes. Mr. Carlos Elizondo, welcome to our show, sir. We're looking forward to having some great questions here from our members in the chat. Remember to please post your questions or anything you want considered or spoken about today with Mr. Carlos Elizondo. And that way we can get those questions to him and see what we get from Mr. Elizondo. How has your day been, sir?
It's been really nice. Hot. You know, I do roofs now, so it was very, very hot today.
I know yesterday was beautiful. Like
Beautiful.
yesterday, it was an awesome day yesterday.
Yeah.
I do want to let everybody know, and we are also going to be sending that out to our members, that this Saturday we will be having another voter registration drive. We had a really good turnout this past Saturday, so we'll be having another one this coming weekend. And it will be at the Galaxy Bowl parking lot over there off of Morrison Road. So it's going to be from 11 to 2. We are going to have a couple of surprises for you all, as far as some of our very talented BISD students that will be competing in what is the show called again, Mr. Elizondo?
I think it's Tenemos Talento.
Tenemos Talento, yes, those are the ones. And so they will be there gracing us with their presence, and we will be able to enjoy their beautiful voices. Again, that's this Saturday from 11 to 2 at Galaxy Bowling Center in the parking lot off of Morrison Road. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting up some of the chat while Miss Ida gets that message out to our members. Some of our posts. Yes, Mr. Cisneros, but I think he fixed it, so he sounds a little bit better.
Awesome.
Hello, Ms. Ramirez.
Hello.
Awesome. Hello, Ms. Charlie Yvonne. And Mr. Sandra. Oh, okay. All right, Miss Ida. Let me know when you're ready.
We're ready to go.
All right. I am going to share my screen so that we can see. Let me play.
It's important to know that this is information we just got moments ago. This was
Wow.
released from TEA, like literally it was moments ago, right before we went on the air. So we believe it's very important to try to get out information right away to our members, so everybody is on the same page. I wish the district worked in the same way, the same manner, and would keep our employees up to date. But unfortunately, it's not. But it is good for all of our members to know, and anybody else that is an audience member out there, to know what it is that TEA is sending out. So
Yes.
this is the press release that TEA sent out today.
All right, and this is the information for the media relations. And like Ida said, we just barely got this. There's a phone number if anybody would like to contact. And I'm sorry if I keep looking to the left, because when I share something on my screen, all I can see is what I'm sharing. I can't see the rest. So I'm trying to see if anybody has comments or posts. I mean, comments in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the first part. All right. So here is what is required to be eligible for full funding. Okay. You must offer in-person instructions to families that desire it. All right. Again, given the need to ensure school systems have flexibility and financial security to provide instruction while they adapt to COVID-19 pandemic, TEA announced today will extend the current minimum funding guarantee established for pandemic on additional 6 weeks. All right, so that means that we're going to have an additional 6 weeks of a funding guarantee. Not all districts means a funding guarantee is in place for the entire first half of the year, okay? So it'll be only available to schools that are offering in-person instruction for any Texas families, okay? Whoops, sorry. They must demonstrate a good faith effort to allow for on-campus attendance, which BISD is already doing, providing instruction for children who do not have a device or the internet or having connectivity problems.
Mm-hmm.
So another 6 weeks of funding for the districts that are providing those kinds of in-person instruction. It ensures that schools will receive their anticipated funding through the first 18 weeks of the first semester, regardless of changes to enrollment or attendance. So ADA, although it does matter, is not going to make any, it's not going to affect that. TEA will address whether further funding adjustments for the second semester are needed based upon information and data gathered between now and January. And what I'm assuming, Mr. Elizondo, is the data that they're talking about is the, for example, our numbers are of positives that we have in our here locally,
Area.
yeah, in our area,
Yeah,
as
right.
well as the hospital positives, right? That's what the governor was talking about before. Do you have anything to say about what we've gone over so far, Mr. Elizondo?
No, just what I'm seeing is that there's actually some positive, information coming out from the state, which should give, the leaders of this BIZ administration some leeway on what the plan should be. But all we can do is hope and pray, right? They did do the right thing. So, I mean, they're always blaming someone else above them, right? So here it's coming from above them, telling them, you know what, this is what you can do. You gotta do the right thing.
Right.
Exactly, and this is the reason that we decided to put out this press release that's coming directly from TEA,
Right.
because Dr. Gutierrez seems to be playing the card a lot of, well, this is what's coming from TEA. I'm only following the guidelines and exactly what we need to do to get funding from TEA. And our issue is, no, you are not. You are not
Right.
following absolutely all the guidelines and of what is being required to get funding. Just like we've already mentioned several times, right now in this transition phase, it is strictly only required in order to get full funding for there to be availability for them to come in if they have issues with their internet or devices. Now, is that the only people he's letting in Brownsville? No, he is
Absolutely
not.
not.
He
Absolutely
is
not.
letting in, of course, your select favorites or that have special connections to people. We've already heard about cases like that.
Mhm.
And then he opened it up to the employees of the district, those children. So, and that's understandable. I understand if they're essential workers in the medical field and things like that, and they need to report to the workplace. But as we mentioned before, like Mission and McAllen is doing, and not that we compare ourselves to the size of those districts, but we do compare that we're in danger zones just like they are. So we cannot go like Dr. Atkinson mentioned at the meeting. No, well, we need to check what Dallas is doing. No, we don't, because Dallas is not in a danger zone like we are. So we need to know what the other districts in danger zones like we are in are doing. And what they are doing is, which is what we have been shouting since day one, let your volunteers come in first. Your volunteers that know why they can report to the workplace, be it that they have better health conditions than others, they want to report to the workplace because they cannot work from home, or whatever the case might be. But let the volunteers come in first. And those are the people that are assisting in these other surrounding districts for the people who have to be face to face. And their district is getting full funding. That is what we call working with your employees. And we don't have that here going on in Brownsville. So,
and as you can see, sorry to interrupt you, Ida, there's not a specific number here. It doesn't say it has to be 20%, 30%, 40%, 50. It doesn't say. It says as long as you are offering a form of in-person instruction.
Exactly. Not only that, I think what's happening also, Ida and Mero, is that the superintendent doesn't know how to get rid of people, and blame him his shortcomings. I think what he's trying to do is, he's trying to blame that the district is and this is going on, because he's always going back to funding, and so has the current board funding. And what they're actually trying to do is they're trying to get rid of your lower level people, because those are the people who are in most need of their job, but are less in tune to stand up and say something about it, right? So this is why you have AOB to represent these people. Instead of starting to top, which is the most expensive positions, they're forcing this. We're having issues with funding. We're having the issues with the ability to get the money to make sure that we continue to have the staff be able to attend and have the current staff, whatever, here, there, another. There is no plan whatsoever on how to be able to say, what, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to continue to have these individuals keep their jobs. But what they haven't said is they haven't put out a plan on how they are able to diminish the top administrative levels, which are the least needed. Your two deputy chiefs, your whatever he wants to call them, put a number to it. Your architect from the school. These individuals are not needed right now. The positions that are really needed are your lower level, the people who are actually doing the work. He has never come out and said, this is my plan to be able to decrease. Because if he does get rid of those two ladies, he's left with what we already know, he's witless. So we're going to find out exactly what he's good at, which is nothing. So these two ladies are the face, right, of the doctor. I hate to call him doctor, Rene Gutierrez, and be able to lead this, what we call organization, BISD, and get it to where it needs to go. The TA now is giving you a plan, Vero, like you just said. There are no numbers attached to it. As long as you have the ability to say, yes, we offer it, or we don't. In this case, we are. But yet he doesn't have a plan on being able to say, you know what, let's get the volunteers who want to go out there. Let's get these people who actually say, you know what, I'm healthy enough, or I think I'm healthy enough to go in there and teach. Or, you know what, I want to do it regardless of the circumstances, or if there's a potential of me even being at risk. Because we know that anybody that walks into those buildings is at risk. because there is no plan on being able to minimize that risk. So
Exactly.
let's give these individuals who want to go over there and risk it. Hey, by all means, go and risk it, but attach, what is that little pay called?
Hazard pay.
Hazard pay. Attach
Exactly.
a hazard pay for these individuals that want to go out there and volunteer and risk, going into the school setting and teach these kids that want to be there or are forced to be there because they have no other circumstances at home. That's
Exactly.
what we should be doing.
Yep.
But yet, you know what? No, we don't have a plan. Let's just throw everybody in there. Don't pay them any hazard pay because everybody else is, Ida. But
Yes.
everybody else is paying hazard pay because
Yes.
that's what they deserve, except BISD.
Exactly. They have been paying hazard pay for them, and it helps to change the morale. It helps when you feel valued as an employee.
Mhm.
We understand we can't meet every single need, but you know what? When we can sit down and listen to the employees and listen to some of the concerns and work together to come up with a way to move forward with this. This is, we've said it several times. Everyone has. It's new for everyone. So stop
Right.
closing these doors that they continue to close. And if it's working in McAllen and in Mission, who have the danger zones, border cities, not as close as us, but still border cities, the numbers are still more or less, in the same area. And their employees appreciate that. Now, it doesn't mean that all 100% of employees are going to be completely happy. But you know what? I can guarantee you a lot more feel appreciated than what we're experiencing here in Brownsville.
Mhm.
And it's just not right. So these employees that are required to go, they deserve the hazard pay. They deserve it. My gosh. What do you think, Vero?
I had muted myself because Molly was talking. I feel like we have such low morale right now. What we should be doing is trying to motivate our employees to continue pushing forward. We have employees in Brownsville who are amazing, who work really, really, really hard. And it's very difficult to be listening to the calls that we get and to know that we're trying so hard to make sure that they understand that we're fighting for them and we're trying to get the respect that they deserve and we're trying to get the appreciation that they deserve. And they don't feel it. They don't feel it at all. I think it's very important too that everybody knows exactly what TEA is saying, because like Ida said, the superintendent keeps saying, this is what's from TEA and whatever, but we're seeing it for ourselves. There is not a number attached to this. And yes, like he said at the board meeting, he has the authority to invite whoever he wants to on campus, but what he's doing is just trying to throw around his power.
Yeah,
He's talking about, yeah.
And you made a great point there. He's there throwing his will, his power, right? He's witless, right? But he's doing it anyway because he has the power to do so. But who here in the district has the ultimate power to make those decisions, especially to push him in the right direction? If he can't get to it and he's not witty enough to be able to decipher this whole pandemic issue, because it's been a flake, his leadership has been a flake, then the ultimate power goes to the majority of the board. Your current majority board has not only become blind to the situation or has just said, you know what, I don't care. I'm only going to sit here and try not making any waves because I know my opposition has been in that several board meetings. He sits there, even in one of the organization's forum, which was, I don't think it was a forum. He sat there and they asked him hard questions and he wasn't able to answer them. He was like, well, let me look into this. Let me see something that I need to look. No, bro, you're there. You sit there. You have a voice. You weren't elected there, but you were appointed by Sylvia Atkinson and the rest of the majority, right? But you were appointed there. You've been an officer, a police officer for over 32 years. I think by now you should know either you have it or you don't have it. Either you want to do the right thing or you want to just sit idle. In this case, we can't have one person sit idle. If he's the only one that says, you know what, I want to be the only one, you should be the only one that's with a loud voice telling everybody there, you know what, this is what we need to do, regardless of these other individuals that don't want to do anything. I believe in the best interest of the school district and the safety of our employees and the kids, this is what we should be doing. But yet he sat there and he let Laura go up there, in front of the horse, and then he took a step back. You're looking at a leader, or you're looking at a follower? Or when the damn thing gets hot enough, the room gets hot enough, guess what? I'm a firefighter. I'm going to go in there in a burning building and make sure the job gets done. He chose to take the easy way out. He chose to take a step back and let Laura go face forward. And this is the kind of leadership that we need not have, because it's not a leader, it's a follower. That's what I tell everybody. You say whatever you want to say, but you know what? You've shown what your true leadership skills are, and those are none. You need someone in there that's going to say something, regardless if you're the only one up there saying it. If it's in the best interest of the majority of the school district, it's in the best interest of BISD staff members, or if it's in the best interest of the kids. You must say, and you must say it then and now. Not wait till November the 3rd. Because November the 3rd, guess what? I've already been elected. Guess what? You have to deal with my failed leadership skills for another 4 years. We need someone there now. That superintendent should be told, hey, do something about it. TA is showing you the reasons why you should be doing it. Don't blame it, or don't cop this attitude and say, well, TA told me this, and TA did that, and this and that, and you have the board members, current board members, just dancing around whatever he says. It's time they put a boot up his ass. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. Boot up his butt and get him to do the right things. People are getting sick, man. Yeah. How many people have gotten sick right now? And there's very, very little amount of kids in the school district. I think Hannah had 8, 12. Rivera had 4. But you have a complete staff there. What they could be doing at home. No, but you know what? We have AAs going in there telling the principals, you must bring them in. They go to Hannah. Why aren't you people in? Because the director or the principal said, I think they're safe at home and they can do the work that they would be doing here, but with less risk at home. Now bring them into school now. What are you talking about, man? Yeah. I mean, really, it has gotten to the point to where now we're forcing people to do something when they have the option not to. What kind of a leadership role is that, guys? I mean, really, you have Patrick Camus and you have Albert Alegria sucking up to this current board membership, knowing well that they've gone against the majority of the BISD staffers and the kids of what's in the best interest for them and their families. But yet we're going to hear and we're going to applaud these individuals to say, you know what? Why? Because me, Albert Alegria, or me, Patrick Camus, has a relationship with that person, and I benefit from that relationship. Forget about the multitude of members that pay dues for me to be able to do the right thing. I'm going to look away and not do that. Come on, guys. Really?
Absolutely. And we have had professional, positive relationships with past administration, and we still have some with a lot of the administrators. But it does not mean we don't call them out on the wrongdoing, and we follow chain of command, and we try working with Dr. Gutierrez and this current board. And some of them do take the calls as far as the board members. Some of them do not. We're going to be very honest on that. And that's okay. We're not here to be your best friend. We're here to bring the concerns to you and give you that opportunity to address them. And we're going to do the same. And God willing, Carlos, once you get on the board, we expect that same relationship with you, to be able to bring these concerns to you, not to get offended, or for you to take it personal because we're just complaining. Well, no, we're not here to give you high fives all day long. We're here to address the issues of our members, and that's what we're here to do. And we've had positive relationships in the back, in the past, where Dr. Sendejas always made time and responded to us, answered our questions, would even give us calls late in the evening just to let us know where she was at on certain issues. So that is a working relationship where we can continue to move forward. Pero when you don't respond, and that's your tactic of working, no, that's not going to work. And we're not here to play nice, especially with a pandemic like this. Our members cannot afford it because we're talking lives here, and it's just not right.
This has gotten to a point to where it's like that little kid that got invited, and everybody takes out their marbles, and he's losing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he lost, he's going to pick up his marbles and go home. You're talking about this is the current board. This is your superintendent. They're like little kids. I don't like this. I'm going to pick up my pieces. I'm going to go over there with someone who's really kissing up to me, and forget about what's in the best interest of everybody. Again, look, and this is not just for this association, who's a true association, right? Who's recognized, but it's for the other ones too, that they need to understand they're not there for themselves, man. They're not there for Albert Alegria and the Albert Alegria family, because they're all on the payroll. This is not for Patrick Camus, who's on the payroll. This is for everybody. Their members come first. It's like right now, I'm running because I believe that I'm going to be the voice out there for these individuals. Whether you like me or you don't like me, I've stood up. I stood up against Sylvia Atkinson. That's why she went after me like a, I can't even, like a Cheeto. The Cheetos are great. But, she went out after me because I wouldn't sit there and take her. It's okay, guys. We decided back there that this is no, we didn't decide anything. You decided. You're voicing your power over these individuals that are your followers, your puppets. I stood against her in many cases, which wasn't in the best interest for anybody other than herself and the little group that she serves. You have Eddie, who was put on there by this person, right? And yet, you're speaking about leadership? A leader would have stood up there, defended the woman that's there, fighting for the best interest of the school district, but yet you chose to take a step back. You chose to take a...
Oh, you're muted.
You hit the mute button.
Oh,
and he's gone. So, pero es que se enojó mucho. But I think it's a good opportunity because a lot of people are just getting on. Just to go over a little bit again on this TEA press release and the importance of why we're putting this out here. Okay, we need everyone to be informed as to what it is that TEA is requiring. Okay, this is coming straight from TEA. We do not want Dr. Gutierrez to turn this around and say, oh, well, I am doing what is absolutely necessary from TEA, because that's not what he has been doing. Okay, we wouldn't want to risk the loss of funding. Okay, we wouldn't want that. We don't want people to lose their jobs. That is not the reason that we filed a petition for a vote of no confidence, which we will be presenting soon. But the reason that was presented was because of his lack of leadership. So again, it goes back to, we want our members, we want our all the employees to be informed as to what it is that's coming out from TEA, because once you know the truth, and I think Carlos can agree with this, him being a true union person, that he comes from a union background, that this knowledge, this is what empowers you. Once you know your rights and once you know the truth that is out there, they cannot throw just anything at you. And this is what we're trying to accomplish here. We want everybody to know, you know what? This is what TEA says. Stop telling me that I have to report to the workplace and I have 0 students at the workplace and I can do 100% of my job remotely, and you're telling me I have to be here because this has to do with funding. No, it's not true. You're saying at the board meetings one thing, TEA is saying another thing, and we need the truth, because you need to arm yourself with this truth so you can be able to speak up. And you'd be surprised how many people they've had to allow to work remotely because of this. Because of this. This is where the power is.
Ida, you have a current board member, and is it okay to interrupt if you were going? And I was on a roll, and I just lost my connection. I think I got a celiac virus there, and she chopped it off. But anyway, what's happened is like you have a current board member that's using this platform as the ability to get more votes, right? He posted on his webpage. You know what? Hey, we fought for you guys. We went in there. We were in the trenches. We were fighting this huge, war for you guys. And boom, he puts it out.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Everything goes. Yeah, we got 4 more weeks. We did this, and then and then at the end, please vote for me. And guess what? That was a lie.
It was wrong. Yep.
It was a lie.
That was
He had
very
to go back like a thief in the middle of the night and retract that information and change it. This is what's currently happening with all the current board members. They're out there saying, I'm here for you, I'm fighting for you. And then the proof is in the pudding, guys. You see it when it comes to these board meetings. They're showing you their true colors. They want you to go another 4 years of this? I don't think so. This is it. People are tired. Everybody that I speak with, not one person can say, you know what, I'm happy this is the way it is. Every single individual that comes out from every department or every level in the school district says, I am tired. I am exhausted, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally. Absolutely. I don't have it in me anymore to do what I want to do. There is no plan. There is no future with this current board or this administration. They have not given us the ability to say, you know what, I can turn back and say, you know what, oh, they're right here. They're behind me. No. They turn around, the employee turns around, and nobody's there. Your administrators are not there. Your board members are not there. Your superintendent is not there. They are exhausted. They've been beaten down with pay raises. They've taken away their step increases. They've taken away insurance benefits. They've increased the amount they have to pay. I went out there because I don't have insurance. I had my wife go out there and look. I would have to have paid over $500 just to get insurance for me to be included. Yet you tax the employee with a pay raise, but you increase the insurance, so they're upside down. How is that even helping anyone? Then you're not even giving them a plan to be able to stay there. Some of these people don't even know if they're going to be there tomorrow because there is no plan. Yet they force them there. They don't even know they're going to be there because they might die from this COVID-19. That is the truth. That is the reality that every individual here is living, and you guys, I'm sure, hear it. I'm sure you're up all night getting texts and emails and stuff like this. If I'm here getting some of this and I'm not even there yet, I can just imagine the amount of work that you guys go through. You have become counselors to our BIZ staff. They shouldn't be worried about their tomorrow. They shouldn't be worried about how they're going to be able to make ends meet. They shouldn't be worried about having to go to work and being protected. If the school say, you know what, Ida, you know what, Bruno, we're giving you the best equipment to be able to do your job, then you could give them some type of comfort and saying, you know what, at least I'm protected. You're not. They're giving you fake masks. They're giving you false promises. And they're still attacking your integrity and your respect.
Right.
What kind of board do you want? Do you want that kind of board to continue through November 3rd, or do you want to stop and start by you? I'd rather say, you know what? I know exactly what you're about. I'd rather bet on the new person to do the right thing because I know what you've done and what you're going to continue doing for the next 4 years. Of course, it needs to stop.
It does need to stop, and I can't even count on my hands. I mean, on my fingers, how many people have called saying they're ready to just leave to another district because there is no definite plan. Anxiety is at an all-time high just with the COVID alone. And then on top of that, the unknown of what's happening tomorrow, because we could get a memo today of what's going to happen tomorrow or Monday. And then you have to reshuffle your whole life in a day or two to try to figure out how to accommodate the random changes that are being made, because according to him, it's TA, which very obviously it's not. And, that just causes another level of anxiety in itself. And, you know, people are so scared and so unsure. They don't feel safe. They don't feel supported. They don't feel appreciated. Nobody wants to be in a position where you're like that.
No, no. It's just, you know, it's gotten to the point, and you're right on this, of being a counselor to many of our members right now. A lot of the times it's easy things that can be fixed once we tell them, okay, you're going to email this and you're going to tell them exactly this. And as soon as they know that they're in contact with us, or they know the way certain wordings of emails go out, they fix the issue. But why should the employees have to go through this? And then there's still some that are adamant about no, you know, I'm only following the directives of the superintendent. And so, you know, we still have the issue of no consistency across, you know, every campus. And but that I do not blame on the principals. I blame it on the superintendent. It all goes back still to when we don't put things in writing, when we are not transparent, to try to bring across as much clarity as possible. We're going to have a lot of misinformation going out. And when you have certain board members posting out information that is incorrect, then you're going to have even more misinformation going out. Yep. So, I mean, as long as he continues to do this, as long as he, I think it's a pride thing for him personally, that he doesn't want to have to admit that he was wrong on these things. He's going to continue to make these mistakes. And, you know, we're going to continue to be here to call him out on these things. We have to. And that is our job, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So I don't know if you want to take some of the questions or comments, Vero.
We can go through some of them. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Reyes. Hello, Mr. Martinez.
Hey, Royal.
Erasmus. Woof, woof. No raises equals no respect.
That's true.
Absolutely.
HR will only offer FMLA or use your sick days.
Now, again, on your FMLA, we got to remember, this is why the superintendent allowed for the employees to bring their children to work. Okay? Because if you have your children enrolled in BISD, it disqualifies you from taking the FMLA childcare leave. Right. Which you allowed for the 3/4. Some people were like, "Oh, well, that was so sweet. That was nice that the superintendent is making that exception and letting our students come in, our children come in." No, it disqualified now the employees that were taking FMLA because they were not allowing them to work remotely. And so now, yes, you don't qualify. But now what some people are doing is they're withdrawing their children. And that is a very sad thing, because this superintendent would rather lose funding. Now that is losing funding on those students. But he would rather lose funding than work with these employees.
Yep. Doesn't the first part also say that this extension is only for those districts that are operating face-to-face for those who want to? Can you explain that part?
I would go back onto it. Because like we said, we just got it like minutes before we went on the air. Giving it need to ensure school system has flexibility, financial security to provide instruction while they adapt to the COVID pandemic. The Texas announced today they will extend the current minimum funding guarantee established for the pandemic an additional 6 weeks, which goes okay. And where you're talking about on the face-to-face though is that you are allowed to for the students that are being provided the face-to-face. Meaning, as long as you're making that accommodation and availability to some people, which is what we should be doing right now, only to those people that need face-to-face, then you qualify to get the continued funding on it. Okay, so that means only the ones that are required to come in. And like I mentioned, that's where he opened it up. He opened it up for the district employees did that, and then and that's why there's more exposure going on. And they're also allowing now certain people, even though they didn't return and answer the survey on time, saying that they were having issues with their devices or internet, because those were the only people that were supposed to return to face-to-face if they chose to. You had to have a qualifying reason to return to face-to-face. Yep. And that is not what he's doing. His goal is, and he said it at the school board meeting, he said it clearly, that the students are going to have to return to the classroom. We don't disagree with that. We don't disagree with the fact that face-to-face is more effective. We don't disagree with the fact that every teacher hates distance learning. But we have to be honest with ourselves that it's not safe right now, and they're not helping the situation to be safe. We have gotten several concerns about how screening is not taking place at their campus, how they're out of PPE, different things.
People not wearing their masks, administration not wearing their masks. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, as long as all these things are still going on, it's not a safe place to return to. We would all love to be able to be back in the classroom, but we have to be realistic. And the numbers are showing it, not just here, but across the country. The numbers are starting to go up. We've only seen the beginning of it. As far as students coming back, employees coming into the workplace, we've only seen the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So let me go to the next slide. All right. It is important to note that school systems are already fully funded this year based on students who are enrolled and who attended remotely on campus. So we're already fully funded this year.
Exactly.
This minimum funding guarantee will address the slight decline in enrollment in Texas public schools this year due to the pandemic. Schools that are open for on-campus instruction have generally seen higher levels of enrollment than those relying solely on virtual. Schools have taken tremendous steps to ensure that the on-campus environment remains safe, so enrollment has also increased as it has become clear that COVID-19 does not seem to be spreading in schools at significant rates. School districts that utilize this extension will be required to identify students who are missing from enrollment and determine their location. Parents are also urged to ensure that their children are enrolled and attending school. Taxpayers in Texas are not expected to fund school system for students that are not being educated, so ultimately school budgets will continue to be based on enrollment. This limited, hold harmless extension provides time for the enrollment picture to become more stable so that schools can wait to make operational and budget adjustments based upon clearer information. So based on this, Ms. Ida and Mr. Elizondo, all of the people withdrawing their students because they cannot take the FFRCA is going to be affecting this kind of funding.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's really bad.
It's scary, and we get it. It's all about the money and things like that. But I think if this superintendent would put his energy into effectively working remotely, and instead of let me find a way to get everybody back on school grounds, then I think a lot would change in Brownsville. But instead, he's trying to find ways to make them, force them to come back to the workplace. That's my
Well,
opinion.
and I have to agree with you. The thing here, Ida, is that the superintendent has realized a little too late because of the pressure that you are putting on, the pressure that current BISD employees are putting on, and parents are putting on, and they're putting it to the current board members. So I'm sure that's trickled down a little bit to the superintendent. But yet they failed to prepare since March, knowing something like this was going to happen. Because I mean, they can claim, "Well, we didn't know this was going to happen. We couldn't prepare for something like this." Well, everybody else tried to prepare for it. Not
Right.
everybody is in the same boat that we're in. So that is a complete lie. You just failed to do it, right? It's like,
Mhm.
board members claiming that COVID was a hoax. I want them to tell that to someone that passed away from COVID, right?
Right.
So now you have
Exactly.
the superintendent reaching out to the county to see if they can take away some of their CARES funds, right, or their CARE Act funds to be able to supplement the distance learning that they should have prepared a long time ago. So where did they spend all that money? The $5.5 million, the $25 million here. Yeah, I mean, just millions and millions and millions, and yet we still haven't been able to buy all the hotspots or all the computers or the iPads for our kids. Which several board members went out and they posted on there that we've got everybody covered. Everybody's covered.
No,
Teachers,
Mr.
students,
Mr. Cowan said 99%
everybody.
of the employees, I mean, of the students have devices and hotspots.
And we know that
99,
is a lie, right? So we
absolutely.
had we had the superintendent with his deputies and the CFO go on a Zoom meeting with current mayor Trey Mendez and some of the commissioners to see if they could flip the $1.3 million.
I saw that.
And guess what they told them?
Nope.
No.
No.
What the question was asked? What kind of partnership are we going to have if we have to put the $1.3 million?
What do
They
you
had no
say?
answer to it. They had no answer to it. Oh, well, we want to know. And then you have Rene Gutierrez kind of strong arming the mayor and the commissioners by saying, well, you need to understand this is for the children. The money
Oh,
that you give us, it's for the children. It's for their best. Yes, we know it's for their best interest. That's why you should have prepared 4 or 5 months ago. Now you're trying to strong arm the mayor and the commissioners to say it's for the children. We must say yes. Well, guess what? There's no money for them. They need it for the police officers. They need it for the health department. They need it for the firefighters and the paramedics who are going out there. They need it for testing. They didn't think that 4 or 5 months down the line, they were going to be asked by the school board and the superintendent, please, can you give us some money? It's for the children. Well, guess
But
what? They won't do that. The
no.
county told them, absolutely not. The county was real quick before, we don't have it. We sent it.
so do you think?
And this
Sorry.
also, but I think that this also has a lot to do with the way that he was treated, the way that they were treated. They were disrespected. They were
Most definitely.
disrespected by him and by the board attorney and at one of the board meetings when they tried to speak. They demeaned them, they embarrassed them, and then you want to come and ask them for money. When you were being rude and disrespectful to them, it wasn't about the kids when you were doing that.
No,
You know,
and then you have the I mean, I always want to say deputy chiefs, but anyway, the one of the ladies there that's right or left hand for him. I don't know which one wipes him, but you have her saying, "Well, you don't have to give us the money right now. You just have to give us a letter that you're gonna give us the money." Well, idiot, that doesn't mean anything other than they're gonna be forced to give you the $1.3 million, whether it be now or tomorrow. It's a letter of obligation. That's how you're going to be able to go and tell them, okay, we have the money. Can you give us more money so we can buy computers that supposedly we already had 99% of them in the hands of our kids?
right,
Guess what? Another lie.
right.
That's what I'm
And
talking
then,
about.
these are not people that you should be burning bridges with.
Of course
I was
not.
about to say that. I was about to say, you don't burn those bridges, especially with the city elected officials. I mean, I thought that was very unprofessional back then when I saw that. And especially in a pandemic, right, that we are going through, everybody needs to be working together. And for them to be disrespectful to the city and then expect the city now to, say, oh, okay, sure, you need this. Well, you know what? Not everybody just, oh, okay, let me have, go ahead and pull out that extra 1 point some that we had put away. No, people make plans. People have long-term goals that they're looking at, that they're working through and stuff. So now all of a sudden you want me to give you how much out of this? And obviously you don't take our recommendations or input. We don't have a voice at that table, which is, so he's closing all these doors. He's doing this himself. Administration at the top is doing this to the district.
But the board is
allowing him to, Ida? Who's allowing him to do that?
the board.
You're right.
The current board. They can say, they can say, whatever. But the reality is, there's no leadership. I see some people, it's because they always answer my phone. Okay, if I answer your phone, you're going to vote for me, but I'm going to do everything against what's in the best interest for the school district and the staff, just because I've answered your phone?
Yeah.
Or just because I give you, mini tacos, or because I, give you hot dogs, you're going to vote for me because of that. You should be voting for the individual who's going to stand up there and is going to say, you know what, this, unfortunately, for many, it's a hard decision to make, even to stand up there by yourself. But at least you're going to have the respect of the people that you serve. And you're going to say, you know what, I did what I said that I was going to do. I stood up there, even though I stood up there by myself. You can't say that about my opponent. You can't say that he stood up there on his own and said, this is the reason that I'm voting for, and this is why I'm doing it. No, he took a step back. His career, he's done taking a step back.
Yes, it's unfortunate. And if we can move on to the next topic, I know our members received this morning. Yes, I can already hear Erasmo. Another survey.
Another one? Another one, really?
But from us.
This one was from us.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
Yeah, no. We had to collect. Yeah, we actually look and see what is coming in from the information that we receive from our members. But we did send out a few questions this morning, just wanting the input of what people are seeing out at the campuses, what they're experiencing. It's very important that we collect the appropriate information and where we can prove what it is that we're saying. As some of y'all know, we were the ones who represented the gender case, the huge case that was in Brownsville, where we represented, I believe it was, 27 females, and some Monday.
26 females.
Okay, there you go. So
right.
it was quite a bit there, and we did really well, and we won that case. It went to federal. It was good. I don't want to go too much into that case, but it's only when you're able to prove certain things and you collect the appropriate information. So it's interesting on some of the stuff we did get today, but we did decide to move forward with the class action grievance. So it was filed today to the superintendent. And so if some of you still have not submitted any information on the survey, please try to take some time to do it. It was texted out to all of our members this morning. You can share on there the information of what you're seeing, and you know what? If it's good information, that's fine. We want to hear which campuses are handling things right, because you know what? They can be an example for the other campuses that are not. So just take that time to please fill that out and provide that information to us. Pero, and then on the survey, it also gives you the opportunity to sign the petition of no confidence for on the superintendent. If you have not done so, please do. It is on there. Please forward it to any friends or family. It is very important. We're over 1,200 signatures on that, and that is amazing. But we want even more because we need to be very clear on how we feel and the community feels about the lack of leadership from the superintendent. But anyway, going back on the grievance, you know, it's sad that it has to get to this, but we're left with no choice on certain issues. And, you know, just like we didn't want to have to file the vote of no confidence on the superintendent because we don't want any bad press for BISD, but this superintendent is like no other, and he's left us no choice. So, sorry.
He's like no other, but there's nothing being done by the board to make anything change. So, you know, it's kind of like there's a board like no other with the one that we have right now that is allowing all of this.
Yeah, and you have to agree. They're acknowledging his incompetence, but they're praising it. And how did they praise it? They gave him a raise. They give him an extension. You don't praise incompetence. You don't give him more value. I mean, what total disrespect for your teachers? You nickel and dime them, but you give this guy $20,000-$30,000 raise.
It's a slap in the face.
You know, he says that we're all essential. Well, then treat everybody fair. He's not. He's fully protected in his little office. Well, I shouldn't say little, it's pretty big. In his office, and he has control of who walks in and who doesn't walk into that building. They have a security up there. If you ask for the superintendent, you think you're going to be let in? You're probably going to get probed, like the aliens do to the humans. They're going to get probe you before they even allow you to come in and talk to them. You know, he's protecting himself.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Elizondo, I've actually gotten a couple of calls of members that have been calling his office to speak to him, and he will not take their calls. He will not return their calls.
Tell them not to feel so bad, Veronica, because the mayor has called him, and he doesn't return the calls. County,
but he was still asking for money.
Oh, most definitely did. The county judge has probably called him, and he doesn't return calls. State representatives have called him, and he doesn't return calls. Senators have called him, he doesn't return calls. Can you imagine the disrespect to those individuals? The most valued people that are there in the district, and he can't return their calls. Those are the most important people.
That's
embarrassing. They're not elected. They chose to work for BISD. They chose to make a difference here at the school district, and he doesn't give them the respect to call him.
That's embarrassing.
So I know you would be you're one person and you can only speak on what you would do, Carlos, but once, you know, God willing, once you get on the board, what would you do different on this? Because we plan to still make it well known of how the community feels about the leadership of this superintendent. And we demand some change on behalf of those 1,200 signatures, on behalf of whatever it gets to 1,400, 1,500 signatures. But the fact that we have 1,200 signatures saying that this man lacks the leadership ability to be superintendent of Brownsville. So what is it as a board member that you would do to make sure that something is done? We cannot continue this way. I mean, it is wearing everyone out. Everyone. You're married to a school district employee, a counselor, and I am sure she is overwhelmed with everything. Veronica, gets a lot of, not only does she have all of her job duties, but as soon as she clocks out from school, she continues with the AOBE role. And then she is working till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning to finish her duties as a teacher. And, so I know how that is. I'm overwhelmed with all the members, and I feel for them. So we need to know that there's going to be some change. So what can you tell us about that?
Most definitely, that's a great question. I think it's an answer, and I'll tell you what, day one, if we go in the way I think we're going to go in, and we're able to make sure that the majority is there and it's on task, day one, nobody goes to school, and I'm talking about distance learning 100%. You have to offer volunteers, then have the volunteers go, but it will be a volunteer basis. That should have been addressed a long time ago, and I think you guys have addressed it. Yet it's landed
We've
on
been
deaf ears.
trying. We've been trying.
Day one, believe me, that will be the first thing on the agenda is to give the respect back to the employees and have them at home if they choose to be at home. Safety should be the priority, and the respect should be number two or number one, depending on how you look at it, right? Given back to this BIG staff alone. I mean, from the
Staff.
top to the bottom,
Yep.
safety should be the most important thing right now. And if you choose to be at home and you're able to do the work that you would do in a school with no students, guess what? You should be at home safe. You should be at home taking care of what you can from your computer and your internet. Now, if you don't have that, and I know not a lot of people do, because I've heard some questions where I live in Brownsville, I don't have internet. Well, guess what? We have geniuses in the IT department that can figure something out to be able to get you some type of internet there. I can almost guarantee that. They just need the support. They are working to the bone trying to make this distance learning 100% reality for everybody. But yes, that would be the first thing I would do. That's the first thing I would tackle. I can't put my boot in someone's behind right off the bat, but
Yeah.
eventually it'll probably happen because you know what? He's lost his path, and I don't think he can find it anymore.
No. And
And
you
as
know
a
what?
board member, we need
Sorry.
to show him.
Yeah. One of the things that Ida mentioned earlier in reference to looking to McAllen and to those districts, they worked really hard with the city to make sure they had towers all over the city so that every single student had access to the internet. What would you be able to do as a board member to work out something like that, or to try to at least?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty good at reaching out and trying to talk to people, regardless of how I feel about them. There's some individuals there at the city that I don't care for obvious reasons, right? But that doesn't mean that I cannot work with those individuals to make sure that there is a plan in place to be able to make sure that we get that for our kids, because it's not just going to benefit BISD. It's going to benefit BISD. It's going to benefit the county. It's going to benefit the city. It will benefit anybody that walks into any area of the city of Brownsville,
Right.
Especially our students and our staff. Because if we had that plan in place before, they would have been thinking about that instead of, bringing in two deputies, bringing in a new CFO, bringing in a new FNS employee, bringing in an architect, making sure this and that. If they would have figured something else out, technology is not going to go away. They would have already been 2 steps ahead of this curve that we're feeling right now, because it's a curve. We're way behind it. What are they worried about? They're worried about praising the superintendent, giving him a raise, and forget about the people who actually make this machine move, which is your employees, your BISD employees, the ones in the front lines that everybody wants to say, Minero goes on the front lines and we're there. Well, show them that you're there for them. Show them that you're there. Eddie, show them that you're there. You're not just going to think about it. He would have sat in a forum with me. I would have been able to dialogue these questions with him. And I would love to hear what he has to say instead of, you know what, that's a good question. Let me think about that. I'll tell you in November the 4th. No, we need the answers today, buddy. We need you to make decisions today. We can't wait for November the 4th. We can't allow another employee or another kid to catch a disease and die. We cannot accept that as an answer. We demand him to say, I'm going to do this and this. I've got 3 more weeks, or I've got 4 more weeks to figure this one out. People will realize that he's failed the district as an appointed. As an appointed board trustee, imagine as an elected, it would hurt a lot more people that way.
Yeah.
Coward,
So
you've done this and that. Show me what you're going to do today for our BIZ staff so that they don't get this virus and die from it. I want to know what that is now. That plan today should be your number one priority. Not the schools you built, not the architect that you brought in, not the field or the tracks or the streets or this or the ACs. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is how am I going to protect the kids? How am I going to protect the staff? That's
Yeah.
priority.
absolutely. And like I mentioned earlier, that we do reach out to the board members that are willing to take the calls still today. We're not ashamed to say that Mr. Eddie Garcia stopped taking our calls, and that's his right to do that. If he doesn't value that we are the largest association and we're bringing forward concerns from our members, it's not my concerns. I'm not making up these issues. I'm only bringing forward and I'm being the voice of our members. But when he was taking the calls, he one of the things that we would hear from him and some of the other board members is, well, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see why. Because we mentioned about how Dr. Gutierrez does not respond to the emails, does not respond, return phone calls or things like that. And I understand when you cannot answer it there and then. Okay. But you're not returning our calls. You're not apparently returning the some of the school board members' calls. You're not returning elected official calls from city and county. So what are you doing? You have two deputies, your left and your right hand there that are complete new positions to work loyally to you, and yet not doing any of these things. And all we kept hearing month after month is, well, we're going to look into that. We're going to address that. So when you get on the board, again, like I said, God willing, once you get on the board and he does that, what are you going to do? Because like I said, we cannot take months and months of we're going to look into it and we're going to see. How will you be holding him accountable?
Well, Ida, you shouldn't have to wait months and months. You shouldn't have to wait weeks and weeks. You shouldn't have to wait days. If he cannot respond to your answers, or if as a board member, I cannot answer the question because I'm not an expert at everything that the school district has to offer, right? But if I can't find out, or I can give you an answer right there, then guess what? I'm going to refer to the experts. If he chooses or refuses to do something, believe me, we will be sitting in his office and figuring out why he refuses to answer. Not to me, but to the people that he serves, which is the BISD staff, the BISD kids, and every stakeholder that's there. Not to me, man. I'm just there to say, you know what? You better listen to these individuals. You better give them the time. He might not have the answers either, but he will surely give you the time, and at least give you say, you know what? I don't know, because I don't think he's going to know a lot of things, unfortunately, but he can bring in someone who's actually knowledgeable in whatever situation it is and come to an answer. He might not decide in your favor, but yet he's giving you the time. And that's all you're looking for. All you're looking is, sit down, listen to me. What can we do to make this work? It's give or take. You pull, I pull. Let's meet in the middle. Let's figure something out. Everything can be settled.
Yes, and it reminded me and made me laugh a little because when this pandemic started, it was after one of the board meetings, one of the emergency board meetings that he called, and he claimed and made statements on certain things. And I remember that I sent them an email, him and the two deputies, and I believe I copied the entire school board. And I sent an email with 7 questions that I wanted clarification on from the board meeting. Mm-hmm. Remember, Beto, that you got a copy of that. So all I wanted was clarification on that so we can explain it to our members. Because sometimes, they're intimidated and, of asking that question to their immediate supervisor or whatever reason. Okay. So I gave it a few days, followed up, called several board members. Still haven't gotten a response. We haven't gotten clarification. Oh, well, he's working on it. He's working on it. Oh, the deputies are working on it. It's because they're researching it. So it got to the point that I lost it a little bit, and I said, why are they researching it this much? These are questions, and I'm only asking for clarifications on things that they presented on. Right. So they should already have the answers. There's no need to research it for weeks. It got to the point, it kept going on, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to let off of this. I want the answers to this email, right? So I kept following up. Oh, by the way, still haven't gotten an answer to my email, and forward again. And, if I talk to a board member, by the way, he still hasn't responded. Oh my goodness, how could that be? Blah, 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 and this and that. Hasta la fecha.
We're still waiting.
Hasta la fecha. No response. So
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
That was in April.
And it was an easy answer. It was straight off of what they had just presented. And I was like, if this is what y'all presented, y'all should have the answers like this. I just wanted a little bit more details on those things, those items, and how it was going to work. Yep. But I guess they just feel that they don't have to. And that's what causes, to me, in my opinion, that's what causes all of this misinformation to go out there. It hurts the morale. It causes a lot of issues like that. But to me, that's unacceptable and unbelievable.
And that's that's the way he's been running this district since he got here. Again, but who allows him to do that? This man cannot put any of his directives in writing. Why? Yes. Because then you have to hold him accountable, or he has to hold himself accountable to what he wrote, or backtrack. In that case, he'd be putting an email and a correction of an email to that correction of that email, because you know what? He flip-flops so much. He doesn't know which way he's going. He's like a broken compass. You just don't know what's happening. At this point in time, you're like that cartoon ostrich that puts its head in the ground and hopefully the storm passes. Guess what? It's not going to pass. No. People are dying. The school district is falling apart because you have refused to make the hard decisions. You refuse to listen to the experts. You refuse to make those bridges with our local, community, your city, your county. You've refused to do that. And you've disrespected the most important people in the district, the employees.
Absolutely. How are your employees going to want to work for you like that? And even at that, they're giving it their all. They're going above and beyond, but they're burned out. Yep. When you're not appreciated, you need some kind of reinforcement. You need to know, that, hey, your employer ultimately is going to have your back. And that's just not what we're seeing here. And it's really sad. And then the other concern that I have is, of course, most importantly, is the health and the lives of our employees and the community here. But also what it's going to do, Carlos, this is one thing that has been in the back of my mind, because I've talked to several people, and I know some family members that had long stays in the hospital due to COVID. Mm-hmm. And I'm worried of what it's going to do to our health insurance, because we're self-funded.
That's exactly right.
In Brownsville. So this superintendent putting our employees in unnecessary risk when these people can be working remotely in a safer place. Mm-hmm. All you need is a few more employees to have a long hospital stay, and that is going to deplete our health insurance fund.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but I really think he doesn't care about it, because at the end of the day, he's going to get up and leave our district, and then our health insurance is going to be left in critical condition, because that's the risk you take when you're self-funded. And all we need is a few cases of people being in the hospital for a month or so, and we're seeing them already.
Yeah, we've already had them. Yeah.
And it's not just being in there. Remember, this has condition.
Long
And
term.
this has, it's a tail that you don't even know how far it's gonna go. You have individuals, I mean, you have employees here that have come up on different podcasts and stuff and saying, you know what, I'm paralyzed from the waist down because I got Guillain-Barré syndrome because of the COVID. I initially went in because of COVID and I ended up coming out. So now I have to go to therapy, but yet you don't qualify to be able to be taken care of. You are being forced to come into the district. And if you can't come in, guess what? You start using your days.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those days do you have?
Exactly.
And guess what they do now? Well, if you want to be out, call your friend next door so they can donate their days to you. And guess what happens to their days?
They get depleted too.
They get depleted. And guess what? Now they're being forced to go to the same place to be able to get this disease or this virus and be in the same thing. So what do? We just share the days around the whole district till eventually nobody has any? You're putting the district, you're putting the lives at risk, man, and you have no plan to be able to come out of it. Guys, they are giving us the opportunity to stay home. They're giving the teachers and the employees the opportunity to stay home and be safe. Yet your current board and your superintendent are refusing to give you that right. They care nothing about you or your family. They only care about the bottom line, the ability to say, "Hey, we were never wrong. We did what we could. This is the cards we were dealt with. We did it. No, you didn't. You refused to look at who's most important here."
Yep. There also when in just you jotted my memory, Mr. Lizondo, in the meeting with the mayor, he was asked if he had already submitted the waiver.
Did you like the answer?
No, I did not like the answer.
He didn't. He hadn't submitted anything. He lied to us all before. He lied to the board and told them that he had done it. That's why Cowan went out there on a limb and I'm going to do it, be the first one to put it out. I'm the first one that's going to put it out because you know what? I'm the one that's going to show that I'm the leader of this pack and tell everybody, you know what? I was here for you guys. We did this. We gave you those 4 extra weeks because I'm the one that pushed it. I did it for you guys. And guess what? The superintendent made them look like total idiots, like fools. The superintendent did that to you guys. But at the same time, who loses? Not the board. No. Not the superintendent. That's right.
We do.
You guys do.
We do. And the kids do. The families, the community, everybody. We all do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you don't do your part to qualify for these different waivers or options available out there, you're putting more people at risk. And you can be healthy, you can be fine and everything, but you know what? You could end up taking it home, exposing a parent, exposing a grandparent, and their situation is completely different from yours. Right. So again, it goes back to let the people work remotely if they can work remotely. Okay, we can find a way to continue to move forward. We can find a way to meet the requirements, what is truly required from TEA. Stop telling us that, hey, you're doing all of this because this is the only way we're going to get funding. No, Dr. Gutierrez, we can read too. We know what it is that TEA is putting out there. Okay, we know the requirements.
And and if you look at that meeting, Vero, what I grabbed from that meeting was, yes, he went to go and beg the city for money, right? Actually, strong arm them because he used the empathy card and saying, you know what, if you don't do it for the kids are not going to have the ability to stay home safely. So it's going to be up to you guys, city. If you give them 1.3 million, you're going to save those kids' lives. Guess what, guys? They're the ones that risked them in the first place. Superintendent and the board did that. But yet, look at this. He's asking for $1.3 million because they're going to put in 1.3 to buy so many laptops. That's a very short plan. You're looking at about 6 months. What is the plan for a year? What are you going to do beyond that? If you're just going to put a band-aid, because he said he had put multiple band-aids. He must have some monies in Johnson and Johnson, right? The Band-Aid maker, right? He probably has some stock there. I put Band-Aids in a lot of things right now. That's exactly what they are. They're Band-Aids, bro. They're Band-Aids. There's not a fix for everything.
They're
This is
not
another
long-term.
for the next 6 months, guys. That's what he's asking for money. That's what he's asking for, this $1.3 million for a Band-Aid.
Wow. I did not see the entire meeting. I'll be very honest. I caught just a very small glimpse of it, and sometimes I can only take so much of certain things. But did he actually say that about he puts a lot of band-aids? He's putting band-aids on a lot of things?
Yeah,
Wow.
Band-Aids on a lot of things.
He's proud of that. Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
it's causing our district over $400,000 for Band-Aids.
Yeah. And guess what? If he really was concerned about $1.3 million, cut down his administrative staff. You're looking at $500,000 there. Right off the bat.
If you care so much about the kids, why don't you say, you know what, cut my salary. Cut my salary.
You know what? I can probably get it as close to $1 million to savings. And I'll live off, $5,000 or a teacher's salary right now till we get through this pandemic. He could have done that too. If he really was interested in this city, which he's not, in this district, which he's not, in these employees, which he's not, in these kids, which he's not, he could have said that. I am almost sure he can do away with his $30,000-$40,000 salary for a few months just to get us over the hump if he was really, really in tune to this community.
I agree. But going back on the survey that we sent out, please take time to go and fill it out, provide us information. Depending on the information you put on there, one of us is going to reach out to you to see if you're willing to come forward. Like I said, we filed the grievance today, the class action grievance on the safety issues going on in the district. But we want to try to collect as much information as we can to add to it. So that would be very helpful. And like I mentioned, if it's good information you have going on, we want to know the campuses that are doing it right. And this is no offense, and this is nothing personal on the principals. We know some of the principals are working with what they have. Mm-hmm. And right now they're pulling some miracles that we don't even know how, because they're standing up to this beast where he's saying, how come you don't have them here? And we've heard it where the principal says, because they're doing their job remotely. They're capable of doing their job remotely. 100% of our students have devices, and they're working from remotely. So we commend those people that are willing to do that. And because you got to remember, on a bully, he's only going to bully you as much as you let him. And so for those principals who do that, that's fine. I understand on the ones who feel threatened by him, but you have rights too as a principal. But these other people though that are not working with the employees and have if you know that your employee has underlying health issues, you know that you can work with them to let them work remotely, and you're just not doing it just because you want to try to shine to this superintendent, then shame on you for that. because that's not right. God forbid that employee does become ill, and there's no recovery from this. That is something I do not want to live with, and that's why we fight as hard as we do to try to get these people to work remotely when they can. I'm not here to judge them and to say if they're lying or not. If they show me the documentation from their doctors saying that they have reason to work remotely, then we will go forward and we will try to get a 504. Mm-hmm. But they're giving us pushback. They're giving us a lot of pushback on our 504.
Yeah.
But we're pushing right back on it, and we're going to file on that as well. So, it's very difficult, but we need everyone's help. We need everyone's help on this.
Yes.
So,
I'm going to put up some of the comments, Miss Ida.
Okay.
Vote for Carlos. Yes. He's known at Brownsville PD for always stepping back when difficult situations appeared. Evident. That's right, Ida. Once elected, all board officials need to stay firm on their purpose and vision they were elected for, not conform to what everyone else is agreeing on.
Absolutely.
Very true, Ms. Ibarra. Very true. True. The board that voted for DOI gave administration greater local control that needs to be addressed.
Hey, I know Nolga is really strong on that one, and I know that because I was part of that. But you know what, we were given so much information, and we voted on that information. If it has changed, and that is not in the best interest of the first initial reason that it was voted on, then it needs to be done away with. And I'm all for that. If it's not in the best interest of the school district, it's not in the best interest of the staff, then guess what? It needs to be taken away. And I agree with that. But with the information they gave us, it was going to benefit more. And that's the reason that I voted for. But if it was a mistake, I'm going to focus on me. You know what? It was a mistake. We need to take it away.
Absolutely. And if I can just really quick, because I know we're going long on time, DOI was approved and currently is approved only for the calendar. It does not give them access to have authority over anybody else, any other district, just because we're on a DOI plan. Now, because our DOI was for the calendar, he could have moved the starting date later.
That's right.
And he had that ability that not all districts did. But because he did not do his proper research, he did not know all the things or was open to receive input from everyone, he didn't take advantage of that opportunity. Our starting date could have been pushed down the line if need be. And we could have then filed for the additional waivers that are allowed. But he didn't take advantage of what was allowed through DOI for the calendar because lack of information, lack of, determination. I don't know what it is.
It was a hoax, Ida. It was a hoax. There was no need for that. That's the whole reason. They could have used the DOI calendar, and you're right. They only wanted it for the calendar, and that's what we're told. That's what we voted on, right? Whether they're using it for other means, that's not the board that voted for it. That's this current board that's using it for other means. If they're using it, I'm not even sure. You guys are the expert on that. But he could have said, you know what, the starting date is not going to be August. What was it, 25th, 26th? It could have been September. It could have been October, and use that leeway to be able to do that. But he chose not to because all this was a hoax, and it was pushed on by your current board. Current board members were saying it was a hoax. Yeah. But again, I go back. If it was the wrong thing to do, and if it's not helping you guys in that instance because of the calendar, then it needs to be taken away. And that's something that you guys need to bring to the table and say, you know what? Here's bullet point 1 through whatever. This is the reason that it's not working for us. They used it, outside of the reasons why it was voted for. It needs to be dissolved, and I'm sure that that's what you're going to get. I don't think anybody's going to do, go against that.
Absolutely, yeah. And we would be on top of that. And actually, we have given that to our attorneys. They would be in violation if they exercised anything other than the calendar under DOI. So we have been on that. This DOI currently is just for the school calendar. So.
PM me your number. I'll call you. I want to know what you think about the DOI. I know that she's a strong advocate of.
She is. She's one of her favorites.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very
know.
knowledgeable. The
You're
sad part
very
is this could have gone forever. Thank nature for the pandemic. Has this brought everything to light? It may kill some, but sometimes the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. So where are you going to get the money to give them cheap health insurance? It's called
it's not.
budget. Where
Yeah,
would
and
you cut for cheaper?
it's not,
Well, we're not
it's
saying
not,
we need to cut. What we're saying is he needs to protect the people so that the insurance isn't depleted. That's what we're saying.
and now
Ellos no es tan buenos como nos quieren hacer. Ojo,
crean.
mucho ojo. Okay.
Ojo, mucho ojo.
Some spelling there. What about ADA, Ms. Ida?
That's the ADA that we're also we are pushing that. Now, I'm wondering if she means ADA as the average daily attendance or the accommodations of ADA. But for ADA, I know a lot of people are talking about the accommodations that right now people are trying to seek if there's a health issue. And we are trying to work with them. But HR has made a statement that right now they are not meeting reasonable accommodations to work remotely as per the superintendent. So so we are reviewing that with legal because it should be on a case-by-case basis. That's what they're saying publicly.
How can even, I'm sorry, but it's just stupid. It really, really.
It's a blanket statement that they're supposed to do.
Crazy by saying that. Not every diabetic is a diabetic the same way. Not every cardiac patient is a cardiac patient the same way. Not every and I could just keep going and going and going.
Oh, yeah.
They have to take it on an individual basis. If that person comes in and says, you know what, because of my comorbid conditions, I am a higher threat of losing my life if I come into contact with this virus, and this is the documentation from my physician and says why I should be at home because of the high risk, then guess what? He should be at home.
Exactly.
Especially when there is that option that is given for them to stay home. No, the bully wants to say, you're going to school because I want you to go to school. And guess what? You're just like everybody else. We are all essential workers. I'm an essential worker. I'm here. Yeah, idiot, but you're in a huge office that is controlled by guards of who and who does not come in. That doesn't happen at the school level. That doesn't happen inside the cafeteria. That doesn't happen at warehouse. That is not the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't believe when, and I did ask for clarification on that. I said, let me get this correctly. You're making this recommendation based on the general statement that the superintendent put out or what was presented at this meeting. Mm-hmm. And they said it again. I was like, all right, I wrote it down word for word. I said, okay, let's see how we proceed on this. So it's a shame because that's a right that people have.
Yep. I heard about a student that stated he is going back because mom doesn't want him at home and he has technology and internet available. Mom doesn't work, but teachers have to risk themselves. Not complaining about our student, but just because parents don't want to deal with the kids. Not fair, but nothing we can do. I'm just scared.
But
Thank
they
you for
can't do anything about it because they're being told what to do, right, by their administrators. But why shouldn't there be an option? You have 300 classrooms. I'm assuming at Rivera or Hannah or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's less. I haven't been able to count them. And if you have 12 students that want to go to school, well, I'm sure there's 12 classrooms. They can sit in a classroom by themselves, and the teacher can do the distance learning from her house. There's no need for that teacher to go into the classroom for one student or 12 or 13 or 14 when they can have a classroom all by themselves with beautiful social distancing and have them Zoom or what do you guys do? Meet or I don't know. There's so many
Google Meets.
Google Meets and whatever the meats and potatoes and whatever you guys want to call them now, and have them do that. Keep your teacher safe. She is fearful of going to school, but that student and that mother wants them to go. Okay, you know what? You're one of those individuals, that allows them to go to school, right? Because they choose to. Well, send them in the classroom by themselves. Because they want to be there all day. Perfect. They can be there all day. They can even get lunch, take it to the classroom left outside, and they can grab it and go inside and eat and do whatever they want. Now the question is going to be, well, who's going to watch them? Well, your principal's there all day, right?
They can
She's
have
being-
volunteers. They can have volunteers. People
There
that
you
want
go.
to pay.
Have volunteers go over there and do and watch them from outside the classroom. Sit there because they're going to volunteer. They're going to get the hazard pay. That should be the option, or it should be an option. Maybe it's not the best option. I'm just coming up. I'm
Right.
shooting from the cup here, but that should be an option, guys. The superintendent said, you know what? You want to be in school? That's fine. We're going to open up a classroom for you. You want the gym by yourself? We'll throw you in the gym by yourself. Put a computer there. Give you all everything that you need to make sure that your education is fulfilled. But your teacher is going to be at her home where it's safe, because that's her choice.
That's her choice. Exactly.
That's allowed for her to take. She chooses to be at home where it's safe right now. Right now.
Yeah. And
I feel like they should also make the parents sign a waiver. Those parents that want to send their kids, that BISD is not going to be liable if something
That's a great option. It's just like when you get on a ride. When you walk in, guess what? There's a potential that you might die. We don't know. You might fly off the roller coaster. We're not liable, right?
that's why I don't get on it.
Yep.
I love it. I love a roller coaster. I love it.
World News gave them think to of a what if plan just in case. Smart leaders do this. They prepare for problems and plan ahead. Simple chess.
That's right.
Yes, sir. They want more money for their paychecks. The principals are doing whatever they want. No uniformity. They're doing whatever they want because they're not being given directives in writing. And because they are not being given directives in writing, that opens Pandora's box, and people can just go crazy. I mean,
everybody can say, but you see, and that's one of the things that we're actually asking for on the grievance. That we are requesting that the superintendent provides in writing continuous updates to the employees of BISD regarding changes to campus procedures and protocols. This thing of people using that, well, I'm following the superintendent's directive. No, I have it in writing, and this is where it's at. This is what we're requesting. This alone would solve so much of this chaos that is going on. It's just sickening.
Greater local control, DOI, site-based, no uniformity, not equitable, the same employer, therefore there should be even treatment. That's right, Ms. Rocha. He was so disrespectful to Mayor Trey Mendez, very unprofessional, yes.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Another survey, yes, Mr. Coco, but it was a good one. Good evening, BISD is sending the handbook. Do they fix the FMLA? Yes, we got the handbook again today. For signature. And it was kind of, it was a little bit, when you clicked on it, it said it should have been signed by July. And so something about your contract, I don't know what, if it wasn't signed by July 20th. But yeah, we got that in the email today.
Okay, I have not seen it, but I'm assuming I was told that it was going to be corrected on the disability issue.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So I don't know if you got a chance to see it, Vero, but I will confirm to make sure. And believe me, if it wasn't fixed, you'll hear about it.
It'll get fixed. Safety first. Superintendent of the year. When did McAllen begin working on the internet? BISD was supposedly going to work on the internet issue in 2018. Well, we're still waiting, Ms. Rocha. We're not going to hold our breath, so we like to breathe.
Yeah.
Teachers should be able to feel safe at each school campus. However, this cannot be said of any school campus. This is sad.
Very sad.
Just filled out the surveys, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
New board, please cancel District of Innovation and re-examine what is best for our area. True, Miss Ida. That's why they're shady and don't put things in writing, so corrupt. I'll discuss my concerns about DOI. Feel free to call me. We'll get him your information, Ms. Rocha. They can be monitored by cameras, certified educator administration that has volunteered. Yep.
That's true.
We've been asking for that forever, but teachers are forced to send their kids. Yep.
Yeah.
teachers don't want to sign a waiver if we have to forcefully send our kids.
That's true.
UTLA stands with teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're at a point where enough is enough.
It
Enough
is.
is enough.
It is, and that's why, again, please, I encourage all of our members or employees, if you know other employees, to fill out the survey, get us some information as to what you're seeing out there at the campuses. It's only going to benefit the district employees. So we're here to try to we have to take this action to try to make things better, and we will. We're not going to stop, guys. I know, everybody's feeling defeated at times and worn out, but we get some positive reinforcement, and we're not going to stop with this, no matter how much of a pain they think we are. Ni modo. It is what it is.
That's your job.
That's right. That's right.
And like you mentioned earlier, Mr. Elizondo, sometimes we stand alone. We do stand alone. And it's because people are fearful of what's going to come if they stand up with us. And that's okay. We're not going to stop standing up alone. We're not going to stop speaking for our members. We're not going to stop pushing that they have the best. It's not going to happen. We're not going to be bullied into stopping. We're not going to be threatened into stopping. We are going to fight and push until we get what is right for the district.
Correct.
And for all staff.
Absolutely. So, again, also in the petition, if you haven't signed the petition, please do so. It's very important that we make a very clear statement. Again, like I mentioned, that the superintendent is not capable of leadership here at Brownsville. So we ask for y'all to do that.
You just posted that.
We are having.
Share it.
Yes, please do. And you please make the time to sign it. I know some people I talked to today are like, I know it's because I haven't read it all and this and that. And, it's important to do this. We have to, take action on this. And on Saturday, we're going to be having another voter registration drive-through, as Vero mentioned at the beginning. So we will be sending out the information. It will be this Saturday. It's going to be from 11 to 2 o'clock at the Galaxy Bowl parking lot. That is usually where we have our member meetings. And the Galaxy Bowl is closed, but that's why we're just setting up in the parking lot like we did this past Saturday. So make some time to go out there if you haven't registered to vote. But also, we invite you to get to know the candidates. This is your opportunity. If you have concerns, if you're not sure of why you should vote for them, come and find out. Find out why you should vote for them. Find out. Let them know where they stand. Thank you, Ms. Linda. Find out what they plan to do. What they plan to do. Turn the district around. And that is why I was asking Carlos the questions. Because we want to know, what are you going to do differently? Because we have to hold them accountable as well when they get into office. And he knows that because he comes from a union background. That is what you do. So, this is your opportunity to, if you have a problem, like Ms. Nelda says, hey, there's nothing wrong that she has questions and concerns on DOI and stuff. But it's good to put it out there, and so we can have that discussion and we can find out. And maybe you have some information that is going to be helpful, and we can take action against DOI if that is the case.
Thank you.
So on Jennifer, hey Jennifer, direct message us and we can get you a shirt. If you want to become a little bit more involved with the association, we'll go ahead and get you a shirt. We're going to be Saturday.
Yeah.
Also,
I saw Virginia Miller real quick. Sorry to interrupt you, Ida, but I saw Virginia Miller on here, and she was one of the ones that had signed up recently, and she wanted to volunteer. So reach out to us, Miss Miller. Send us a Facebook Messenger, and that way we can get you information.
Yes.
Hey guys, should we say who's going to be there on Saturday, or do we leave that for another
No,
surprise?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I know they're going to have Melanie and they're going to have Bebo out there, so everybody needs to come out there and show support for these. These guys are by far great kids. They're representing our community. One's from BIZ, one's from IDEA, but they all represent Brownsville. We're also going to have DJ Wedo out there, so it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome, and we're going to be there.
Yes, and it's going to be, we're going to be practicing all safety measures. We're going to be social distancing. Mask is required. We're following all safety protocols, but we're just hoping, we want to make it clear that we can move forward and get things done, but with safety in mind. Okay.
Right.
And that's how, thank God, this past weekend was successful. It was safe, and we plan to do it again. And of course,
and we signed up a bunch of new voters. A bunch of new voters are signed up, so bring them over.
Yes,
exactly.
if you're not registered to vote, or you know somebody who is not registered to vote, please bring them by so we can make that happen. This is close to the last. What is the last day, Ida? I forgot. Is it the 6th? The 5th or the 6th? Yeah. So this is going to be the last chance you have. Yeah. So we're trying to make a big push towards making it available for whoever wants to drop by and get that done. It's really easy. You fill out the form. They're going to be there taking your information, and you're done.
Absolutely. And also, if you have anybody that has not had a chance to sign up for AOBE, I know we get a lot of those messages. It's your opportunity there to sign up. You get your goodie bag, your AOBE face mask as well. So you can take advantage of that as well. So you see?
Nice.
So hopefully y'all can come by, and we will be there. Also, if you have any certain issues you need to talk to me about, I will be there. We can, go to the side and talk about your issues and concerns. I know I addressed a few this past Saturday, so I'll be willing to do that again. Anything that we can do to help out during this difficult time, that's what we're here to do. So I think that's it on my part, guys. I think we're going on 2 hours, dear Lord.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry.
Mr. Elizondo, anything you want to say for closing?
Just stand strong. We're almost there. You're looking at less than a month. So we waited long enough. Just keep the faith. Good things will happen. Do not give up. You have a lot of people that are behind you. AOB staff is ready and available to listen to your concerns and to go out there and fight for you guys. I appreciate you, ladies. Thank you for having me out here. And you know what? We're going to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. I just received a text, so I'm going to read it real quick. McAllen ISD. Hey, McAllen, how does it feel to live in the home of the best superintendent in Texas? Dr. J.A. Gonzalez is the Texas Superintendent of the Year.
Wow.
I wonder why.
Exactly. So, no, hang in there, guys. We'll bring about change. We're going to bring about change, but it's going to take everybody to do their part. And we are going to do that. They've left us no other choice, guys. So
we'll see you guys hopefully on Saturday. Everybody show up. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you're wearing your masks. Safety first, guys. Safety first.
Thank you.
Real quick, go through the last comments. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Ida, anything else we need to share before we go?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, Saturday, 11 to 2, bowling alley parking lot on Morrison. We will see you there. Bye. Good night. Thank you so much.
Bye.